Right now on this video, I'm about to share with you 7 investments actually considered best that you can do in 2024. And guess what? With as low as 800 Kenyan shillings. And by the way, for my diaspora viewers, that means $6, as only $6. And by the way, sometimes even way less than that. And before I start sharing this information, I want us to come into an agreement between you, who is my wonderful viewer, and by the way, thank you for your eyeballs, and me, who is making this video. And this is what I want. I promise to share this video with you for free. I'm not gonna charge you even one coin, all right? The only thing I want from you is to like this video. It doesn't cost you anything. Don't ignore. Just like the video. It doesn't cost you anything. And also, if you would like not to miss any of my good videos, down below there is a small button written subscribe. It's on your right. Absolutely, it's in black. And by the way, once you hit it, it disappears. Did I just show you magic? Absolutely, I did. Now let's get into the business. Now, wow, the first one that you're supposed to understand that you can invest or do so in 2024 in a month's time, by the way, depends on when you're watching this video. It's actually stocks or shares, based on how you call it. People call it stocks, people call it shares. And if you're watching this video and you're a Kenyan, by the way, you can invest in shares in Kenya with as low as, can you imagine this? With as low as even 300, even 400, you can buy shares. So there is nothing to excuse yourself and say, hey, I usually think like stocks or shares are quite expensive, so for the wealthy, I don't think I can be able to manage. No. Just shut up. 2024, we ain't gonna ride on what we call the excuses. And another year goes down, another one, and we're achieving nothing. So the first one is actually shares, okay? Shares, aka stocks, all right? So this is where you actually buy a fraction of a given company and you'll be able to invest in that specific thing. And by the way, shares depends on the amount of money, or rather depends on the price per share. This time I shared that information here, I showed you, depends on the price per share of that given company. That defines how much you can actually invest in that given company. For example, here in Kenya, from the Nairobi Securities Exchange, wow, the 4th biggest security exchange in Africa. By the way, you can actually invest in more than, actually, there are 63 companies listed under the NSE. That's what we call it. Now, those companies, over 20% of them, or over 20 companies of them, you can actually invest with money which is less than 1,500, 1,500 Kenyan shillings. That's like 10 or 12 or $13 around there. So below that amount of money, you can invest to more than 20 companies in these shares. How about you pick that one thing and say, hey, guess what? This time round, I'm gonna start with his, and by the time I'm getting the new year, I'm gonna start buying shares and stocks of a given company. And then can you imagine this? You accumulate that money, you accumulate that. For example, in Kenya, we have a vision 2030. In 6 years' time, we're gonna go for that vision. Then, okay, fine, you're seated there waiting for the vision 2030 and you're out there. But do you know, even Africa, we have an agenda called Agenda 2063? What are you doing about it? You're doing nothing. By the way, the developed world has taught us something. Despite we African viewing them as developed, we still have some people who are complaining. By the way, have you ever heard of Americans and Ukrainians, or not Ukrainians, but UK guys complaining of, hey, only 1% of the people hold the wealth? Now is the time for you to be the 1%. Stop being complaining and don't view yourself as a victim. And by the way, you're like, okay, fine, Joseph, would you mind sharing information about stocks and shares? Well, if you'd like to get a tailored information specific for you, my number is always on the description of this specific video. You can pick my number out there, and also my email is out there. Talk to me, I will guide you. But obviously I charge, all right? Just a small, cup of coffee price, okay? We get to point number 2. The point number 2 is MMF. Yeah, MMF, in Kenya we call it MMF, or you can call it mutual fund, okay? Mutual fund. You can also call it unit trust, all right? Unit trust. So this is actually you getting into an agreement with a company, you and the company. A company invests on your behalf, then they share the interest with you. And by the way, if you're watching this video again, if you're a Kenyan, I bet you're lucky. I bet you guys who should all come in Kenya and invest here. By the way, it's an amazing place with as low as 100 Kenyan shillings, below $1. Can you imagine that? You can start investing in this MMF and what have you. And so it's not a time to complain and say, hey, guess what? I ought to have myself a lot of money for me to invest. Investments is for the rich, is for the wealthy, and all those kind of things. Maybe let's say you don't love investments, okay? Maybe whatever I'm talking about, shares and whatever, that's not your thing. You love businesses. Hey, you can actually use this platform, these routes to actually accumulate money rather than just putting your money in a bank where it's getting you nothing. Come on, this time round we have have to tell each other the truth. Rather than your money just resting in a bank doing nothing, you can channel that money towards this area, and then you can get your money back and go invest on the businesses. And by the way, I'm still gonna share some one or two about businesses on this video. Okay, so on MMF again, you can actually go ahead and invest in these particular areas. Okay, now by the way, don't forget this, all the information that I'm sharing right now with you about shares and stocks, I have a booklet about shares and stocks. You can grab a copy to get all the information about shares and whatever. It's only 280. About the MMF, it's also already there. It's 280 Kenyan shillings, so you can get a copy. All right, and by the way, in everything that I'm going to talk about today, everything, I have a booklet about it, so you can get a copy. Now, the point number 3 is actually what we call there's something called REITs. Have you ever heard of something called REITs? REITs. I was actually looking for that name. Is real estate investment trusts. Let me just explain what it means. For example, let's say you are out there, you are passionate about investing in real estate. But we all know real estate costs millions of money, if not billions, to get into. And probably you obviously, as of now, do not have the billions of money. But you love this thing. You're passionate about it. You see, it's not a must that you get the millions first for you to invest in these real estate companies, okay? There's some companies which are already investing in real estate. They are big, big companies that are doing so. So what you do is that you come with, by the way, in Kenya, you to invest this real estate, you need as low as 700 Kenyan shillings. That's like $4, okay? So you take your money, you can, I did not say it has to be $7 or rather 700. You can take 100K, 10, 3, 4, 2K, 1K or something or sort. So you take your money. Obviously, 700 would build you a real estate, but you can invest in real estate with these companies. You take your money, you take those real estate companies, they invest on your behalf, they invest on different areas. They can invest on I rate. There's something called I rates, there are D rates, there's something called a commercial. They invest in commercial real estate, they invest in rentals, they invest. So while they collect the money, now they share with the investors. You who has given them your money. See, it's like you're investing in real estate behind the door. Obviously, because you see, and I always tell people, you may not do something amazing by yourself in terms of the money, but if you guys can pull resources together, therefore you can be able to achieve these great things. And I always advise people, especially young guys, if you're watching me, if you are in a circle of guys who are not serious, guys whom you cannot even gather them together and agree on, maybe let's say we'll be dedicating a certain percentage of our money towards a circle or something, those are not the kind of friends that you're supposed to be having. You have jokers. That's a reality if you want to change and transform your lives. Remember one thing, birds of a feather. Absolutely. Now, the point is this, on REITs, you can actually invest as low as that amount of money, and then you get investments as you move together. And again, I know you are like, okay, fine. Joseph, how legit are these companies that are offering these things? Obviously, in Kenya, I do not know how or what happens in your country that you're watching me from, because I realized we have wonderful guys watching from West Africa as well as the South and Central and whatever the place, and North Africa even. Welcome. Now, I do not know how you do work if you do guys have rates in your countries, but in Kenya, these rates companies are actually regulated by the Nairobi Securities Exchange. They're regulated by the CMA, that's the Capital Market Authority of Kenya, and all those legit areas whereby to make sure that they legalize these companies, okay? Now, this is an area where you can actually pick and invest as you progress to the next level. Am I making sense up to this particular point? Yes, if I am, then, and you forgot to like my video at the beginning, where I can actually see you, just like the video, all right? So let's get into the next point. The next thing that you can actually invest on, that is the point number 4, it's called the SACCOs, okay? In Kenya, we go have something called the SACCOs, okay? SACCOs is actually the primary thing most of the people who are looking into invest or investments usually get themselves into. And circles, the primary agenda or where these circles actually started for these people who are in the informal sector. You remember one thing, if we can just teach you a little bit of history. Back then, only people who used to qualify for the loans from the banks are the civil servants people who are salarized, people who are being paid at the end of the month. So there was this other group of people who are never having the salary. Maybe they were farmers, maybe they were doing other activities in cottage industry and what have you. So because they were a little bit unfavored from the banks, so they came up with this sort of a banking system, their own sort of a banking system, It's quite interesting in Kenya. And therefore, these circles or these banking and cooperatives now offers them loans to actually feed or finance their activities out there. So it's an area that most of the people who are thinking about investing is usually the very first time where they usually land. It's like you're in Kenya and you want to start a business. Most of the business that people think when you want to start a business is usually either a shop. When I say a shop, I mean like a general shop. If you're watching this from America, it's like a convenience store, or you want to start something like a hotel. In Kenya, we sometimes don't even understand what's the difference between hotel and a restaurant. Provided you just go and eat, for us is a hotel, whatever it is. Okay, now the point is this. Circles, it's an area where you can actually be channeling your money each and every month, or whichever the period of time. Therefore, grow yourself. And when I always say in circles, they usually have different types of accounts that you can actually fund your money. You can not only get your money in terms of accumulation, but also you can actually access a loan out there, provided if you confront the guarantors, the number of guarantors that they instruct you to do so. Come on, it's an interesting area. Check it out. It's quite an interesting area. All right. So by the way, don't forget, whatever I'm sharing with you here, I got a booklet for each and every one of everything information that I'm actually sharing with you here. All right. So do you allow me to go to the next one? Absolutely. Now, this one is a little bit different. You may not be able to invest with 800, but now here we are talking about the guys who, you have a little bit of financial muscle, like 100,000, 50,000 or something of sort. You can actually get yourself into what we call the T-bonds or the Treasury bonds and the Treasury bills. And I believe every country on earth, if I'm not wrong, and if I am, then I stand corrected. They usually have this issue called treasury bills and the treasury bond. It's simply lending government your money, and then they pay you back your money, and obviously with an interest on top of it. So if you have yourself like a 50K to spare, 100K to spare, then it's an area that is quite interesting and you can put your money into, especially if you're coming from Kenya. Right now, as you speak, they're offering a quite, so sort of a very good and interesting rates out there. So pick it up and get started. You never know. And then, accumulate that profession, or rather accumulate that portfolio, and you can do something. Okay, now we go to other one is about index fund. So index fund again is like, it's another form of investment. It's quite interesting, kind of mirror the shares, but it's quite different. Instead of investing in one area, instead of investing in one share or one company in terms of their shares, it's like investing in a group of companies. Okay, it's like your risk is less spread when you want to invest in index fund. But it's a bit complicated area, by the way. Not most people know actually this thing exists. Most of the people understand about the stocks, but index fund is quite, sort of a hidden information out there. So index fund again, all that you need to invest on shares is what you need to invest on index fund. But of course, you need to have a little bit of more information on what it is so that you know how to be able to invest. And the seventh one, again, I said I'm gonna share something to do with businesses. Now it is businesses, and businesses, allow me not to specify which business, allow me just to treat it as a business. And this one depends on where you come from, what you want to start, and the problem you want to solve in that specific locality. That way you can be able to go ahead and achieve that goal that you're looking forward. Obviously, let's say you come from a farming area, don't expect you to sell cereals because probably everyone has it. So but if you come from towns and cities and what have you, or maybe if you come from those farming areas, you can do some agrovets, you can do some sort of clothing industry and all those kind of things. So the point is this, I may not be able to specifically tell you start this business, because now it depends with various parameters, depends on what exactly you're looking forward into solving, because different areas requires different things. But this issue of starting a business on the basis of, hey, I want to do this, I usually hate this kind of analogy. Hey, I want to start a business because I want to, it's true, you want to supplement your income. There is nothing wrong with you viewing it that way, but should not be the ultimate way of viewing you starting a business. Ask yourself, hey, there is a problem, or there is a gap I identified somewhere, so I want to fill that gap so that I get something in return. Now you're making sense, rather than just saying, hey, I just want to go out there, start a business, I want to supplement my income, you see what I'm growing on. See, when you argue from a selfish point of view, you get into the business with a lot of anticipation. So when you get the slightest discouragement, you get frustrated, you get depressed and stressed. Sometimes I usually receive calls from clients, and the guy is telling me, Joseph, I don't know what I can be able to do. Do you have time? I want to talk. Please, I'm depressed. And then you listen. They tell you, hey, guess what? I've been in business and I don't think my business is doing good. I'm so frustrated. And ask them, okay, fine. Okay, I understand. Okay, fine. How long have you been in operation? This is my second month. And then you ask them, okay. Have you ever been in business before? No, it's my first time. Okay. How's the business faring up? I was aiming at getting 4,000 each and every day. Right now I'm getting 2,800 or 3,000, and I'm so frustrated. Okay, okay, okay. Are you able to pay your workers if you have them? Yes, I am able. Are you able to pay your rent as well? Yes, I am able. Can you left something behind for your business? Yes, it is. But you see, I was looking forward to getting for. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on a second. You're becoming frustrated, and you got into the business with a lot of anticipation. You're barely in second month and the business is able to stand by itself. It's paying your workers. It is actually paying you a little bit. It's a matter of time. Just give it time. Just nurture. It's the way you usually give birth to kids. We don't expect a lot of things from kids. We don't expect to give birth to them. They walk today. They go to school. They talk to us. They got some teeth. You can send them some. No, we don't expect all those things. We view business as that. Just nurture it. Okay, and hold the business until it stands on its own. And that's why I've said the aspect of time is quite essential whenever you want to start a business. All right, so by the way, guess what, that is the end of this video, but not the end of me posting a video each and every time. Talk about business and investments. And by the way, if that's a cup of your coffee, then consider this place home. Just make a picture tent somewhere and let's get into the business. For now, it's a goodbye. But don't forget, hey, my number is always on the description as well. My email is out there. Shoot me a text or an email. We do the business. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.